Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. Game week 3 is still going and once again it's not going ideally, but game week 4 is 2 weeks away. But I wanted to do a video for you in order to have something to think about during the break. It's pretty early, but I want to build the best possible free hit draft with the information that we're having. We're going to go through the fixtures and we're going to pinpoint some teams, and we're going to go then to build that free hit team. If you enjoy my content and want to see more, you can subscribe to the channel. It's completely for free. I'm going for UCL fantasy content and FPL content this season, so we're going to go strong. If you're a fan of any of the games or both of them, you can follow me and a lot of content will be coming your way. Now let's go and discuss those fixtures. This is how the fixture schedule looks for game week 4. We have a lot of games on Saturday and only 2 on Sunday, which is quite surprising, especially that 2 of the teams are playing in UCL, but yeah, just the fixture run made it that way. We're starting with Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, and here I think it's a very hard game, so if you can avoid those Arsenal assets, it would be good to do it. Yes, if you have them on the free hit, it's not going to be the biggest of mistakes, especially in defense, but I would be hesitant to go there. Bournemouth versus Brighton. Bournemouth is a good team and probably an interesting side to pick some players from, and I'm looking at some of them, but Semenyo hasn't performed well since game week 1, and Evan Nilsson is fighting with some very good strikers for game week 4, so yeah, a little bit hesitant to go there as a whole. Crystal Palace versus Sunderland. So Crystal Palace, this is the first team that we're going to target. I feel like they are very good against Sunderland. In general, they have not been that amazing, but I think that they can improve with time and they can get you some good scores and some good returns. Moving then to Everton versus Aston Villa, I think it's old saying that Everton are good defensively. They have not been good defensively, but they have been good offensively, so maybe considering some players from Everton, but Aston Villa I am for sure considering players to pick from. Fulham versus Leeds, I like the Fulham chances here. Yes, they've lost to Chelsea, but I think that the loss was not fair, and I think against Leeds they will do well. Newcastle versus Wolves, honestly, after the performance from Newcastle against Leeds, I'm not going to touch any of their players at the moment. I don't know who is starting. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're playing. I'll be just avoiding Newcastle in general for the time being until they solve the issues that they have with the front line man and Isaac and etc. Yeah, that will happen before game week 4, but until Wolf and Mate, I think I butchered that name, but the new striker comes into play and I see him play, I would be avoiding. West Ham versus Spurs. Spurs have lost the game against Bournemouth, but I think that they will defeat West Ham, so it's a good fixture to target. And another good fixture to target for me is Chelsea versus Brentford, so we're looking at some amazing players from Spurs and Chelsea to pick from. Burnley versus Liverpool is the main reason most of the people are going to free hit this week. Several of you have started without any Liverpool assets, and this is the game to get those Liverpool assets. I'm deliberating strongly, should I get a defender at all, because they have not been good defensively, but offensively they have been scoring, so most probably I will be going heavy with the goal scoring opportunities. City versus United, it's a game that we can never predict, so I would be avoiding those players. So players that I would be considering from is Palace, Villa or Everton, Fulham, Spurs, Chelsea and Liverpool. We have 6 solid sides. Yes, Bournemouth is with a good potential, but until I see who they bring in until the end of the transfer window, I would be a little bit hesitant. For now, I think that's an amazing site to start, amazing fixtures that I've pinpointed to start building. So let's go into the building section. Starting as per usual in the goalkeeper department and in the bench, I decided to start with Leno. Leno have been performing really well, and I really enjoy how he plays overall in that Fulham defense. That allows me to have a proper keeper for the time being, and against Leeds at home, I think it's a good fixture for them. They need to start getting some points, and they were screwed against Chelsea, let's be real. The goal was pretty harshly overruled, and then the penalty was really soft that Chelsea received, so Leno would have been in a very good position. Set pieces were not that amazing, but Leicester Leicester. Leeds in general haven't showed me too much as of yet, apart from against Everton, but against Arsenal and against Newcastle, yeah, they were not for it. They didn't have, I think, any shots on target. So yeah, for the time being, I'm going with Leno in goal. Vicario West Ham away. I'm picking Vicario as a backup keeper because he played out of his goddamn mind against Bournemouth, and I wanted to give him a shout out. He's going to be on the bench. I've planned to pick another Spurs defender, so Vicario is my backup. Of course, you can back up in any other team that you want, but Vicario is the guy if Leno doesn't play. Konsa and Rodon are my two defenders. Rodon, it will never get up to him, but Konsa, Everton away is an okay fixture to target. Of course, they've improved massively offensively, Everton, and it might not be anymore that easy to score against them. But still, I would quite fancy Konsa in that game. Rodon, Fulham away, he's just probably the best 4.0 option compared to Sunderland or to Burnley, so I'm going with Rodon. Nothing too special, but nothing too harsh. And King facing Leeds at home. This guy scored a goal, but it was ruled out. A third start in a row. This guy will be coming more and more popular with time being. I like his performances. 4.5 is a good price to have. Hopefully it will not get to your benching, but even if it gets to it, you can improve it a little bit if you have the money. But this team for now costs around 98 million. I'm not exactly sure of the price because price changes change, so it's under 100 million. You can believe that, and if you want a proper benching option, you can go for King, but for now I think that it's good to have. I will change the value to under 100 million so you don't get confused with price changes, but you can easily afford that side without a shadow of a doubt. Next up in defense, I'm going with three pretty solid defenders: Lacroix, Romero and Cucurella. This is the defender that I mentioned that I'm having from Spurs, being Romero. This guy is good from set pieces, and West Ham have been shambolic from set pieces so far. This guy is good for defensive contribution returns, as he's one of the few guys that he's getting them regularly. His price is good. Of course, compared to Pedro Porro, you can say that he is benchable, Pedro Porro is better, blah blah blah, but Pedro Porro got subbed off in around the 78th minute. Now with Udogie and Jet Spence into the team while Romero remains on the side. You can find it as a bad thing that your defender is still playing after 70 minutes or not, depending on what. Pedro Porro got the defensive contributions for less than 80 minutes, but it was against Semenyo, so it's understandable. But yeah, I like Romero a lot as the option, and I prefer him. Defensive contributions, attacking returns, everything that you might need in your center back defender. Lacroix, another center back that I'm opting for. This guy has been playing well, defensive contributions in the both games that I've watched so far, and he has been the woe in that Crystal Palace side. I don't know if Gay will be Crystal Palace player after the deadline of transfers, but Lacroix is going to be, and he is the best option from that Palace defense without anything being said. And Cucurella, Brentford away. I think that Cucurella has proven once again that he is very good. Of course, you can go for Chalobah, who has been racking up goals and assists left, right and center, but I think that if Reece James takes up the starting spot in the league, Cucurella will become better and better with time being. And on a free hit against Brentford, I like it a lot. The obvious omission here from my team is anyone from Liverpool in defense. I would have opted for Van Dijk, but they're conceding goals for fun at the moment, and I cannot rely on their defenders at the moment. Of course, that's my thought process. It's how I see the game. But if you think anything else, feel free to showcase it to me and to say, okay, this is a better option. You need to pick, let's say, without Leno, you go for Vicario, then you go for Virgil, but then you drop a Liverpool attacker. It's a lot of potential moves left, right and center, but I really like the double center back partnership on the free hit. You get a pretty high floor with those defensive contributions. You get some attacking threat on both Romero and Lacroix. You have Cucurella on that left back spot with a very high bonus ratio. He is getting pretty high on the bonus points, even without returns, so I like him. And Leno is a solid keeper that racks up some saves. You have Konsa to cover it, and you have Rodon to back it up. Of course, if you have the extra money, you can buy a little bit more expensive defenders, but I see no reason to do it. For now, I think that's a good defensive side to consider. Now, let's move into the midfield. So the midfield looks like that. 4 away fixtures for my midfielders. It doesn't look that amazing, but I think the fixture speaks for itself. First of all, I want to mention that Ismail Assar and Semenyo were pretty close to joining the side, but I opted against them. I'm starting Rodgers for my Villa player. This week I got more attackers in the bank, but I wanted someone else up front apart from Watkins, so Rodgers will have to do the job for me on that department. It was Rodgers versus Sarr and Kudus versus Semenyo, and I opted for Kudus and Rodgers. These guys are interchangeable. Now with Xavi Simons, I think that Kudus will improve a lot, but let's start speaking player by player. I haven't seen how Aston Villa played against Crystal Palace yet, but I think if they play well, Rodgers have to play well. And for now, Everton away is a good fixture, as they dropped the defensive stability massively in order for them to keep getting those fluid attack with Grealish and Dye and Dewsbury Hall. Of course, they are the same defense, but without Brantwaite, they are suffering, and that's obvious. So I think Rodgers can capitalize. Moving then to Kudus, I think that Kudus is the most nailed midfielder from Spurs that you can rely on. Unless we see Xavi Simons doing wonders from his first game. I don't know the price yet of Xavi Simons, so Kudus will have to be my Spurs coverage here. Up front, I was thinking about Romero or something, not Romero, Richarlison, sorry, but for now, I'm going to avoid it. So yeah, Kudus against West Ham. Then moving into my Liverpool boys, you're going to say, but you already have 2 Liverpool attackers. Probably you're going to add a third, and yes, spoiler alert, I'm going to add a third, but Gakpo just signed a new 5-year deals with Liverpool, and Salah against Burnley I think is the prime captain option. I think that moving forward, Gakpo and Salah will have a tough fixture run, but for now, Burnley away is the prime fixture where you should go, and I think that they will score a lot of goals. Even United created a lot of chances and managed to score 3, should have scored way more, and I think a fluid attack like Liverpool here may score more than 3, especially if they are in a prime form. They play on Sunday, so they will have enough time to recover after the international break, so I quite like that. 7.6 for Gakpo. I think that Gakpo will be the best midfielder from Liverpool, even when I take into consideration Salah. He's just in the right time. Salah is crossing the ball onto him, Ekitike is passing to him, Wirtz is passing, Kerkes is passing, McAllister is giving the ball, he's providing assists to all of those players. I think that Gakpo will become better and better with time being. Salah penalties, and he's clutch. After 90 minutes he just delivers, so I think that Salah should be in your free hit for team without any other consideration. With Palmer not yet decided, Saka, Bruno not ideal, Cunha coming off with an injury. I think that Foden not clear enough. If he plays, I think that Salah will do the job perfectly fine. As already mentioned, you can go for Semenyo, you can go for Sarr. Those are the other 2 players that I quite like, but I quite fancy Kudus, Rodgers, Gakpo and Salah to be my 4 main midfielders, with King being on the bench to cover them. Last but not least, I've got the forward line, and I don't think I'm surprising anyone. Let's start with the obvious pick, Ekitike against Burnley away. Ekitike has been in a good form. I don't know how he will do after the international break, but he's not going away to international duty, so he's going to rest, and he will have a good rest, so that's good for him. 8.7 Burnley away. I quite like the fixture, I quite like the price, and I quite like his performances, so Ekitike is the guy to build from. Mateta against Sunderland at home. I picked him over Sarr because he is the penalty taker for Crystal Palace now that Eze is gone, and that means that I'm on only 2 penalty takers, and if I haven't picked Mateta, I would have been on only 1 for my team. I don't know who the Villa penalty taker is. Enzo is ahead of Pedro, Richarlison / Solanke is ahead of Kudus, so yeah, Gakpo and Ekitike are behind Salah, so I wanted to have a penalty taker. If I went with Watkins and Sarr, I would have been limited, and they have been given more and more penalties. Yes, most of them have been missed. I see you, Shade, I see you. But yeah, I think that Mateta is going to be the main penalty taker, and Sunderland at home. I don't know if they're going to concede another penalty, but by the way, Fulham have conceded penalties in the 3 games so far. Hopefully against Leeds they will not, but yeah, Mateta against Sunderland at home is brilliant. And Joao Pedro now with the lap being injured, they are speaking to keep Jackson into the side, and when keeping Jackson into the side, that means one thing and one thing only: Pedro is going to start as a main forward, or is going to be behind George. I just don't see it. With Garnacho, with Gittens, with Enzo, with Palmer, with Neto, with Estevao. They have so many opportunities to bring players around, and I think Pedro will be playing up front. Brentford away, I think it's an amazing game for him to rack up some attacking returns once again. So if you're looking to free hit, I think that those are the teams that I would follow. The defense is pretty set for me. The front line is pretty set for me. The midfield is the only place where I can adjust if you can afford Semenyo and so Sarr. It's over Mateta. So it's either Watkins, Sarr, or Rogers Mateta for me, and it's either Kudos or Semenyo for me. So those are the dilemmas that I will dig into. Of course, a lot of things may happen in the next 2 weeks, so don't rush it now, but I see some people wanting to use the free hit in 4, and this is a team that I think will do pretty well for them. So I'll be happy with starting them and keeping them in the Gameweek 4 squad. Now, if you enjoy the content and want to see more, you can subscribe to the channel. It's completely for free. You can join the mini league and compete with me. This year I'm doing awfully bad, so you're going to be ahead of me most of the time. More UCL fantasy content will be the focus in the next couple of days, but for now let's focus on FPL. And with this video you should start thinking about your draft. Don't do anything as of now, it's way below 100 million, so if you don't need to activate the free hit, just don't do it yet. You're not going to gain that much money in the long run, as most of the premium assets are a no-go in game week 4. So I quite like this draft. It has a nice mix. It has a pool of players that are not exactly popular. Triple attack is not popular. Mateta with Pedro is not popular. Romero with Lacroix is not that popular. Eleno is not popular at all. So apart from Cucurella and one of Pedro and Mateta and probably Salah with Ekitike or Gakpo, you have 4 players basically that are popular. The others are just differentials, and there's some good players. This is going to be the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching, and for now guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.